chips are everywhere. Everyone talks about chips.
I mean, we build chips.
You've been already a failed investor early on.
I should try something different.
Apparently, you realize that there is a big problem in Bitcoin.
I am interested, but I don't want to be the only one to invest.
Life as an entrepreneur sucks.
And if you see that things are moving in the right direction, then you think that, yes, I think there is a way for me to get funded.
You have raised in the whole of your career around $500 million.
Well, it's a funny story.
Everyone tells you no.
At some point, you got to give up.
You raise capital. Now what?
The vision and inspiring others.
Certain companies from China control the market.
Absolutely.
This is insanity.
That's an interesting time to start a company.
That's game changer. Hello, everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Sergii Gerasymovych. I'm a CEO and co-founder of Easy Blockchain. Today, we have a special guest, Rajiv Khemani. Rajiv, welcome to the podcast.
Well, thank you, Sergii. Thank you for having me on the channel, and it's exciting to be here.
Absolutely. So Rajiv, I've known you. We're a customer of yours, done a lot of stuff in crypto mining space. Can you tell more to the audience what do you do and who you are?
Yeah, so I am co-founder and CEO of Auradine. We are a company that does blockchain and AI infrastructure applications.
Okay.
We do deep tech, hard tech, silicon systems, software, that type of products. And we've been in business for a little over 2.5 years.
Okay, wonderful. So when you call deep tech, hard tech, you're talking about real physical infrastructure, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we build chips. We build chips at the leading edge process technology node. Semiconductors, right, which have become much more important in recent years.
Yeah.
People didn't know about semiconductors or didn't care about semiconductors up until recent supply shocks as a result of the pandemic. Now everybody knows about them.
That's very cool. I mean, now chips are everywhere. Everyone talks about chips. We're in the crypto mining space. They say, well, we can get you the equipment because there are no chips. AI came to play. Everyone is buying those NVIDIA GPU cards. Now NVIDIA controls the whole chip market. So tell me, how did you get into this chips business? That's not such an easy business that you just wake up the day and say, well, you know what, I'm just going to do AI chips today, right?
Yeah.
How did you come up to that?
Well, it's a funny story. When I went to college, I wanted to be a software engineer.
Okay.
So I did a bachelor's, master's. I was a software engineer. And then in Silicon Valley, after my MBA, I wanted to do startups. And the very first startup I did was actually supposed to be selling security systems. But one of the key things that we had in that was a chip. That was my very first startup. The internet had just started to happen. And we were doing a chip. And essentially, after a year or two, the company was acquired. And we had multiple acquirers. One of them was Intel.
Oh, wow.
And Intel bought us.
That's huge.
And I got into a chip company. And believe it or not, on the job, I learned about chips. And I've been doing chips for now 25 plus years.
Wow, it's an amazing story. So 25 plus years ago, you got into business because you just wanted to do business, right? So, but now you are running another chip company. So how many companies did you have in your career?
Yeah, so this is my fourth startup company.
Unbelievable.
And it turns out all four of them have been semiconductor companies.
Okay. Wow, that's unbelievable. 4 companies. That's a huge accomplishment. I mean, I'm so glad that we can talk about this today. So what does it take to start a company, right? It's your fourth company, so you obviously have done well. You learn how to do it. Can you share a little bit with our audience, like, what are the steps?
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you how it has worked out for me.
Yeah,
okay?
Of course.
And essentially, all of the 4 companies have had some common aspects to it. The first aspect has been the market, right? So whenever there is a disruption in the market, something new happening.
I love that.
That's an interesting time to start a company. And I'll tell you about all 4 of mine. The first one was when the internet was starting. The second company was when e-commerce and mobile infrastructure were being built. And my companies helped with that. The third company was when the world was shifting to the cloud. And then the fourth one is in blockchain and AI. So you can see each of these are very big transitions that happen.
Bull market, as they say. So it's huge market that you can be a smaller fish, but you can be all over the place.
And you can be at disruption because large incumbent companies are slow.
Yeah.
New startups are much faster at doing this thing, and new startups can innovate much faster. So that's one. The second thing is the team. And if you have a world-class team that you can attract, or people that you have worked with in the past,
Yes.
that makes a massive difference. Okay, so that's the second big aspect of it. And then the third aspect, which is not that easy, is raising funding.
Oh, I would like to talk more about that.
Okay,
Everyone wants to know about the raising capital. But do you finish your first stage?
So I think those three aspects make a big difference. After you do a startup, it's never a straight line. Things don't go according to plan. The world changes around you. And then, an important element of making startup successful is being able to adapt and pivot to make sure that you are able to persist through whatever comes at you.
So you want to be flexible, in the other words, right?
Yes.
That's interesting. So team, big market, and raising capital.
Raising capital.
Right? So I think the most what people are interested is money, right? They like market. Well, market, I can research, figure it out. Team, I have a friend, I have a family, they're going to help me to work with. What about raising capital? That's not such a straightforward thing. As far as I know, you have raised in the whole of your career around $500 million. This is insanity.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit of, give us an advice, giving me an advice. I'm an entrepreneur myself. I've never raised capital. And I'm sure there are a lot of people out there who have not raised capital neither. Where do you start? Is it a pitch deck? Is it a story? What is it?
I mean, pitch deck and story are super important. Clearly, it becomes easier the next time you raise it, right?
Yes.
First time is the hardest. Once you've raised money and made money for investors, and you have a track record of doing that, the next time becomes easier.
Yes.
It also becomes easier because you know people. You have bigger networks and connections and so forth. So really the hardest is in the early, when you're doing it for the first time or the second time, it's much harder. And again, when you're raising money, it is not 100% shot. In fact, I would say that when I was raising money in the past, I would go to a lot of VCs and I would hear no a lot. I mean, a lot of people tell you why it's not going to work. Mm-hmm. Just because, and these VCs are very smart people, but mm-hmm. they will tell you why your idea is a bad idea.
Yes.
Okay? And you have to be willing to take that and sometimes actually go and listen to them and adjust your idea based on the feedback you get.
That's a good point.
And it's not like everybody is stupid. I mean, these guys are very smart people and they give you very good ideas and you go back, reflect upon it, and you keep improving as you go from one meeting to the next. And then there are some people who will say, I am interested, but I don't want to be the only one to invest. Mm-hmm. And so this is a process that can take a while. It can take months. It can take 5, 6, 7 months sometimes. But the ability to keep adjusting, learning along the way, and not giving up is, I would say, the most important thing of fundraising.
I hear that a lot. A lot of people say that giving up is just the most common thing when you try to raise capital. So now you actually emphasize on that again. But what keeps you going though, right? Like when everyone tells you no, right? You have this idea, especially in your industry, chips. It's hard, it's physical stuff. I have no idea what you do there. I mean, I received a small piece of silicon and what is it? So what keeps you going then? You spend months, 2, 3, 4, and people say no. Why don't you just give up?
I think like I said, at some point you got to give up, right?
Yeah, right.
Maybe it's a bad idea really, but I think it's a combination of being stubborn and being flexible, both at the same time. Okay, so you have to be flexible in the sense that when somebody tells you no, to the extent you can learn why they told you no. You can try to
analyze
it. Why did they tell me no? Was there a genuine reason that they're concerned about the viability of this business or the success of this business? So you come back and adjust yourself.
Yeah.
Right, and then you try it again. And if you see that things are moving in the right direction, then you think that, yes, I think there is a way for me to get funded. But again, there are certain things where you try and you after the third or fourth time, you come to the realization that maybe that's not a good business idea. I should try something different.
But that's that part when you say you need to be flexible, right? So need to flex that idea, change it, but you still keep it on track of being, successful entrepreneur. You still want to do it, right? So if you have the idea and investors don't fund it, it doesn't mean that you give up on entrepreneurship, though.
Yeah, you do not.
Right. That's cool. It's amazing. So let's kind of speed up. You raise capital, right? Now what? That's the most important part. They give you the money. Investors give you the money. They trust in you. You get the money in the bank account. What do you do? What's next?
I mean, lots of things. When you are a entrepreneur, CEO, you are not just the CEO, but you're the assistant, you're the janitor, you're the finance person,
like it.
You're the market.
The janitor.
You do everything
Yeah.
in a company, especially in the early days. And so you have to set up your bank accounts, you have to set up your IT and so on and so forth. But I think the most important thing from a entrepreneur CEO point of view is all about the vision and inspiring others. Okay, so fundraising, as you go and convince somebody to invest money in you, they are betting on you. They are betting on the fact that you might have a great vision, but they are betting on you as a person that you will be able to adjust as things go forward. And then as you go to customers or as you're attracting talented folks to your company, it's the same thing. You're always describing what the vision is. You're trying to inspire other people to join you in the journey.
That's where the team part comes in.
When you go to a customer, you're inspiring them to come with you on the journey. So I think is a very important aspect of entrepreneurship.
But they say that life as an entrepreneur sucks. And I think what they also say, the life of an entrepreneur with investors sucks even more.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
I've had a great time with my investors.
Okay.
A lot of people say negative things about venture capitalists, but the folks that I've worked with, frankly, I've been blessed to work with some of the best investors in the world. And so, they challenge you, they push you at times. They may ask you some uncomfortable questions, but I think they make you better.
Yeah. No, it's fascinating. As they say, good people attract good people. So let's start with that. So that's probably why you're successful and people want to work with you. Because as you mentioned early on, when you have a track record, that's already easier. People see something in you that they do not see in others, and that helps them to bet on you. So let's talk about your current venture. So it's fourth company, Auradine. You're a CEO and co-founder. You've been around 2 years. And even in 2 years, you have disrupted the crypto mining market already. Where are your customers? My company is your customer. And we've already seen your product. We're lucky to be at this event in Nashville and be present at your presentation of your product. It's a fascinating product. Tell us, how did you get into Bitcoin mining and AI chips? And how come you've done so much in such a short period of time?
Both excellent questions. So when in 2021, late 2021, after I sold my previous company, I was looking at what to do next. And at that point in time, blockchain was hot. In fact, people use the term Web3, which they don't use as much these days.
Yeah.
But blockchain is incredible technology. So I spent some time learning about it, took a bunch of classes and so forth. And then I got introduced to my co-founders at Auradine, who I was helping out think this through. And we said, if we had to solve something big in blockchain, what would it be? And where is the money, if you will? And we looked at Bitcoin as an incredible technology, but we saw there were a couple of challenges that Bitcoin had, right?
So you learned about Bitcoin in 2017, right?
I actually, I had dabbled with buying Bitcoin, over the years and selling it too soon.
Oh, so you've been already a failed investor early on, huh?
Failed investor in Bitcoin, yes.
Okay.
I should have held on. I
Right.
go back and
Well,
look
should
at
have.
I go back and look at the amount of Bitcoin I held, in 2013 and 14, and
Oh, so you were
would have
early
been
on.
would have been worth a lot, but I sold it too soon. But I really didn't understand the technical aspects of Bitcoin until I got to start.
Physical
Yeah.
business. That's very cool. So apparently you realize that there is a big problem in Bitcoin that people don't really talk about, which is a backbone of Bitcoin mining.
Yeah.
And especially that the crypto mining equipment that is required to sustain Bitcoin blockchain is super sophisticated and is super expensive, and it has multiple different components, and at the same time it's not made by that many companies. So that's where you saw the gap, didn't you?
Yes. A lot of people don't realize. I mean, Bitcoin mining started on PCs and then went to GPUs and then went to specialized ASICs. And now it's gotten to the point that it has to be at the very leading edge semiconductor technology at very, very low voltage and low power to really achieve the efficiency that's required for Bitcoin. And the difficulty keeps increasing of Bitcoin mining, as you will. But there were two issues that we were focused on when we started the company. One was this concentration of supply, right? And all of the supply of Bitcoin mining hardware comes from Chinese vendors.
Yes.
And all of us that are in the Bitcoin community are very proud of the fact that it's a decentralized, secure protocol, but yet at the same time, supply is centralized. That's not a good thing.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Yeah, the decentralized technology is backed by centralized technology.
It's backed by centralized technology, and it's very risky, right? And so a lot of people don't want to spend a lot of time thinking about it, but it is a real issue. Okay. The second aspect is energy consumption. Bitcoin consumes energy, and that energy is critical for it to secure the protocol and do all the validation of transactions, which is very important. But at the same time, you want to use energy in a positive and constructive fashion, and you want to use the least amount of energy that's needed to do the mining, right? And so we said, let's focus on those two big things to begin with.
And those are the two big things that are mostly talked about in the community, in the media. I know specifically that in Bitcoin mining community, a lot of miners are upset that certain companies from China control the market. They do not provide a good customer support. They just collect checks, and at the same time, you're not happy about it, but there's nothing you can do. There's no alternative. So that's one aspect. The other aspect that we have, a lot of buzz in the media that Bitcoin is going to kill everyone because it's going to suck up all the energy, and it's going to, create so much emissions that we will not be able to breathe. But what you do in your company is on mission to solve both of those problems.
Absolutely.
That's unbelievable to me, and I'm so glad that I got the opportunity to talk with you about this. I'm a big proponent of making cryptocurrency mining equipment or any type of equipment in the United States because this is a critical infrastructure. It may not be so critical as a healthcare infrastructure or military, but Bitcoin is hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars of valuation today, and it's becoming more and more as a part of the financial system. So it's impossible to rely on some financial system only when there is so little companies supplying the equipment to support that infrastructure. It's unbelievable.
Yep.
It's unbelievable. So apparently you're not happy with this, and you founded the company. You guys are based out of Silicon Valley.
Yes.
So does it help you to be located there and build this business? You have a lot of minds around. There's, you worked in Intel, so probably you have a big network. Can you tell us, if the location to build the company matters?
Yeah, I mean, it does matter. Silicon Valley, lots of people in the world have tried to replicate Silicon Valley, and have succeeded to some extent, but there is no other place like Silicon Valley in the world, right? And it is a combination of the fact that there is good universities, there's good talent, people who have worked at companies, chip companies like Intel, Nvidia, AMD, and so on and so forth. There is venture capital, so there's investors in the same locality, and there is a lot of cross pollination of ideas.
Yes.
So that creates a very good atmosphere to build new companies, and that's why a lot of great companies get built over there. Even in this new AI revolution, you see some of the leading companies are all based out of Silicon Valley.
Yeah. Well, before we move to AI, I really want to still kind of piggyback on the products that you do for Bitcoin mining specifically, right? So you just released a new product today. I think not today, yesterday, right? Can you just give our audience what is it about?
Super excited. We announced the Teraflux 2800 series air-cooled miners and the 3600 immersion-cooled miners. These miners use 3 nanometer technology, which is the latest silicon technology in the world. There's probably 3-4 companies in the world that are shipping 3 nanometer based products today. We are one of them. And essentially, we've been able to achieve much higher energy efficiency in these products compared to the previous generation. We've raised it to 260 terahash on the air-cooled, 375 on single-phase immersion, brought the energy efficiency down to as low as 14 joules a terahash. But more importantly, what we are doing is we have also built in capabilities like the energy tune, which I mentioned,
Yes.
very important for energy demand response capabilities. And we are introducing a new capability that we are calling Smart Hash, where even if there's certain chips that fail in the field, the systems keep running. So the focus is on increasing uptime, improving total cost of ownership for our customers.
That's game changer. Me of speaking from the helm of my organization that has been involved in mining for 7 years, I can tell you right away that it's certainly going to change the way the business is run in America and probably around the world in crypto mining, because we have been having such unpleasant experiences, to say the least. So now it's just a breath of fresh air for me, honestly. So the product is 3 nanometer. That's already a game changer. And your focus on energy efficiency and utilization of Bitcoin mining as a tool to solve some other problems is just inspiring. So why do you focus on energy this much? Do you think that it really going to matter in the new world of data center growth and Bitcoin mining growth and AI growth?
Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin consumes energy. As we all know, it is now become an integral part of our system. And I just wanted to just spend a little bit of time making sure people understand how integral it is to the United States, right? We all know 50 plus million adults own Bitcoin in the United States. Roughly 500 million people in the world own Bitcoin, 600 plus institutions. We are sitting here at the Bitcoin Nashville, and we expect big announcements here that are going to be, I think, quite game-changing. But despite the fact that Bitcoin consumes energy, we know AI is already consuming and will consume many more times this energy, right? And we, on our planet, we want to make sure that we use energy responsibly for various reasons, climate initiatives and so on and so forth. And I think it's very important to be responsible in how we use energy and use the least amount of energy that's needed.
Rajiv, so your equipment is super efficient. That's Bitcoin mining equipment. How different is Bitcoin mining equipment from AI equipment?
At a very fundamental level, both are doing complex math operations, right?
Okay.
So there's similarity there. At yet another level, both of them consume energy. And yet another level, cooling and thermal capabilities and low power capabilities are required in both. Okay. Beyond that, obviously, AI has a lot of software elements and large language models and various other AI evolution that's going on. So there's differences there as well. But what I believe is that a lot of the learnings that we have in the Bitcoin space are applicable to AI silicon and systems as well.
And on the mining side, on data center infrastructure side, it's also similar, right? You need a lot of energy to mine cryptocurrency. You need electrical equipment, you need transformers, generators, and so on. Same in AI industry. You need a little bit more sophisticated infrastructure, but you do need access to a lot of energy. So do you think there's going to be a competition? We already see it, but what is your thought? Will there be competition between Bitcoin miners and AI data centers for that valuable energy availability on the grid?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that there is going to be competition, but there's also going to be collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
Because one of the characteristics of Bitcoin is probably it's the most flexible user of energy that exists out there. You can go up and down when you want to, and there is no, effectively there's no overall impact. AI, it's not like that. When people need that AI, they have to have it. But at the same time, if you look at things like AI inference, it's not a steady usage of energy. It goes up and down. And so there are instances where AI data centers are using Bitcoin to fill in the valleys and try to smooth out the energy curve. And so there's possibilities of collaboration that we've heard certain customers working on.
So Rajiv, Auradine is the company that's focused on Bitcoin and AI. Are we expecting some new stuff in AI from you very soon?
Most definitely. So we are working on some super exciting things. AI is still, I think, in the early days, even though there's been incredible adoption and spend in the last year since ChatGPT and everybody sees NVIDIA stock price. But I think we are still in its infancy. So AI has a long, long way to go. And there's a lot of innovation that's still yet to come.
Well, I'm super excited about what you're working on and would like to know more going forward. We're definitely going to become a customer of you and your products. And hopefully you guys are going to take over the crypto mining market in America to the extent that you are not becoming the most centralized monopoly, which the one we're fighting. And of course, on the AI front, it will be very exciting to have a smaller company, not just big like NVIDIA and Supermicro and HP and so on, but new startups coming into play. So we'll keep in touch, and I hope to have you on our show in a couple of months and discuss more.
Well, thank you very much, Sergii. Thank you for your business. Thank you for all of your excellent questions, and look forward to talking again in the future.
Appreciate it. Well, thank you for your time. Thank you. Thank you for watching. I hope you like this episode. We're going to have more content like this. Subscribe to our channel. Put your comments below, and looking forward to see you again. Thank you.